Hi there, everybody. Happy hump day from me, like Quinn Lisa. Today is Wednesday, so we've got WuJu Wednesday. My buddy Public's going to be joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and if you guys will do me a favor and give me a like and share this video really quick, let's get some more woo-woo out there in the world. Welcome to Wednesday. How are you doing, Public?
Hi, I am good. How's everything over there?
It's wonderful.
In Smiley Land. Smiling today. Look at you.
Smiling today. Lots of smiling. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, you made me smile. I got on, I wasn't smiling.
Good. That's what matters.
It was worn out Wednesday. It went from worn out Wednesday to WuJu Wednesday. So excited for that. So what is up in the woo world?
There's always something up in the woo world these days. I mean, it's all woo. I mean, according to Uncle Cliff, it's all woo right now.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all woo.
Some really big announcements.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What did you
well, so Giuliani was raided. Both his Park Avenue and his other fancy penthouse, his office and his penthouse, which kind of, I think, sets him up to have the microphone, because the officials won't be able to make comments about it, because if it's an ongoing investigation, they can't say a thing. Well, Rudy can say whatever the heck he wants. So I think that will be very interesting. Also, when you're in a lawsuit with somebody, or there's, those kind of issues pending, they have to be really careful. That was part of Lynn Wood's strength of calling people out, was go ahead, sue me. Because guess what's going to happen? Disclosure. People should be very afraid of disclosure if you're hiding things or doing things illegal. And so that a lot of this might, kind of flip back on them is what I'm thinking. There's also, there's a lot of noise around the gym, John Kerry and his actions that basically go against the Logan Act, which is exactly what they were accusing, Mr. T of.
Well, it's every single thing that they've accused our man of. It turned out, obviously that's the typical narcissist, thing that they do, right? It's like what these type of people do. They accuse you of what they're actually doing. And, sometimes, and it's happened to me, sometimes you just get so damn flustered, like you spin around, like, what do you mean me? And then you get lost, and then you dive right into their ball game where you're like, what do you mean me? Blah, blah. But yeah, it's terrible. It constantly comes. It's hopefully.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a really positive thing. There's a lot of noise right now, just like, when the blue dress happened with what's his name?
Clinton.
Yes, they. That was to distract you from what was happening, the red shoes, which part of that was China. Part of that is, we also know how the red shoes are made. And once again, like the Maxwell trial is going on, and apparently she was in, well, whether she was or not, I don't know, but someone who we are told was in court just a few days ago. And you're not hearing that because you're hearing all this other noise, and then all we have going on with the Arizona count and all that kind of stuff. Looks like after what Amy came up with, and I talked about yesterday, there's a constitutional standing back from 1860, and we talked about that on Patreon. And then Amy had some more information about how the one judge recused himself, and now the current one is actually associated with the whole Hillary bunch, and
really?
Yes, and a law office. There's a definite conflict of interest there, and so I think we'll start hearing some people asking him to recuse himself. So, and then our buddy Bruce Lipton. I should have pulled that up earlier.
If you can, yeah, that was a great little thing. You know, I don't know how the rules work with that, but I don't think Bruce would care if we play something like that. That was really, really interesting. Getting back to the Arizona thing real quick though. So, so the Supreme Court judge there, he recused himself, and is he the one who also tried to halt the recount? Is this the same guy?
So
because I was reading something this morning. One of them tried to stop it.
So there's a group of Dems a group of like 102 attorneys who are trying to halt it.
And throngs of protesters, but there's not.
Right. And the original judge, I think, did halt it or tried to halt it over the weekend, but then recused himself, and then this new one came in. Okay. So it's a lot going on.
That's something. That's something. You know, I'm watching this closely for one thing. We think that we have this right information now, you know, the Patriots here, we think we know what's going on. We think we have a really good handle of what's going on, right? Of what happened and the process. If you go back to the My Pillow guy and you follow him on Telegram, especially, he's got that whole 2-3 hour documentary where he literally lays everything out step by step by step by step. It's just phenomenal. So we know what happened. We've seen enough of this, of what we've heard, you know, as to be rumors, and then it slowly turns into truth and reality over the past few years with this. So, I mean, they're caught every single way, up and down, left and right. So many different people, supposedly all the low-level people who were just the volunteers in there counting stuff and throwing stuff out in the garbage and changing ballots and stuff like that. Supposedly they're all just talking up a storm, because these are just regular people who, like, you know, were like, you know, the Dem, you know, lib type, probably had some green hair, spray painted green hair and stuff like that. But they did what they thought they were doing was right. And now they got the feds coming to their house, you know, asking questions and stuff like that. You know,
well, and Uncle Cliff talked about this in his data, that as the dollar dies, that those people that were paid off, it won't be enough anymore.
Right.
You know, even if they were saying, you know, well, come on, we'll send you a couple $100 every month, or $1,000, or I have no concept what that is, but whatever that financial agreement was to stay quiet is not.
It's not enough.
When, you know, we had a storm here a few days ago, and well, we had that ice storm a while back, and some people didn't have all their trees cleaned up. And so then we had this tremendous windstorm come through. Big branch falls, breaks our new fence. And my husband went over to talk to the guy that had the tree, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. So we were trying to work it out. And so my husband calls the guy that put our fence in, and he's like, yeah, man, I can't even get wood right now, literally. And so then we got another guy that had cleaned up some trees for us and whatever, really great guy, and had a really great lawn crew as well. And he said, oh no, I was able to get some. I have some wood from another project, whatever. But I mean, like, that's how we can't even get a few pickets for our fence.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that it's so expensive. It's just not around.
Well, have you seen the charts on lumber in particular? I was curious after Mitch and some of the guys were talking on our Westwood private chat that we have, and I was he was just making comments about how much more expensive it was and what it cost a year ago to what it costs now. So I went and looked, and there's like charts, like the charts look like the debt chart,
the M1 money supply chart,
where it just goes into a hockey stick, and that's unbelievable. Like, I think we have a lot of timber in this country. Is it market manipulation? Is this what they're doing, kind of like what we thought they did to the people's electric bills? And all of a sudden, after the GameStop and the Reddit silver guys and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, I had the feeling that, hey, let's just jack up people's electric bills and see what happens to shake people when they get a $3,500 electric bill, because, hey, commodities go up and we can run up commodities and stuff like that. So, you know, is this what that is? Are they messing with it, or?
I'm not sure. There was a guy.
Or is there a legitimate shortage?
Well,
or do we not even know?
It's something about, so there's multiple, it's my understanding that there's multiple reasons. Of course, now I can't find the video. but there's a guy called like Do It Yourself Mike, DIY Mike, or something like that. And he, is like a Mr. Fix It. And he goes through and breaks down like why exactly. And I only got part of the way through. It's not really long, but I just got interrupted. But he was like, so, there's all these pieces getting lumber to, there's the sawmill, the truckers, the person cutting it, there's the other transport, there's the middleman, there's, all these people in between. And he was talking about who's making this profit and who's not.
Okay.
And I didn't get to finish it, but I'll try to find it and I'll share it. I'll either tweet it out or definitely post it on Patreon.
I was just reading here in the chat, Phil, our good buddy Phil here, writes, an $800 deck will now cost you almost $4,000.
I believe it.
I mean, I should have invested in lumber. Why didn't we go get pallets of 2x4s like a year ago or something like that?
Well, so is it also the same? Is this the next toilet paper shortage? That's the other thing I want to know.
What's more important? I don't know.
I mean,
I guess lumber would be more important because you could always use a substitute for toilet paper if you had to.
Right, I guess so. But I'm just saying, is this one of those manipulated panic things that they can push the market with? Okay, we need them to spend more money. Well, people want the housing price is so high that people are looking at, gosh, for me to buy a used house, or a pre-owned house is this. I'm just going to go build what I want. Well, no, you can't even build.
Cuts that out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I see. Tamping back down some of the growth in certain areas. That's a great idea. I didn't think of it on that.
I don't know, but they're always manipulating the market and everything.
Seriously.
So, I found here is the our buddy Bruce.
Oh, Bruce Lipton.
One day I'm going to have Bruce Lipton on our show.
We mentioned that. Let's put Nana on it. Nana, can you please help us out with that? Nana can get right in there. Come on.
Let me turn this up. I think we can go ahead and.
Come on, Nana, help us out with that. So Nana's pulled who? Nana's got Jim Willie. Who else has Nana got over the? I know there was a couple other too, right?
I mean, Uncle Cliff started watching us, but it may have been because Mom may have sent him an email. We'll never know. An
email or 5,000? One or the other?
Somewhere. Yeah. I don't know. But this guy is brilliant, and I would love to have him on to talk about all the gene issues that we have right now.
Oh, yeah.
With the prick. And because he's brilliant with all that.
He is the epigenetics king.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, so this is so funny.
The dead man's on the la la la, the la la la. Oh, wow. What a glorious day to be sailing on the sea. I think I should be checking my bearings at this point. North by northwest. That's right. Hank told me take a left at the island, then follow north by northwest until I go toward the sunset. But it should be here somewhere. Long Island should be somewhere, but it's not here. I think I better check my calculations again. So I left Port Moresby at 12. And going at 8 knots by 12:35, we should have been over here. Take the left at the island, and then we follow the tangent of the cosine of 381 for 8 minutes to the right. And
that almost sounds like Stargate jumping stuff he's talking about right there.
I'm lost at sea. What should I do now? I knew I should have trusted my feelings when Hank gave me directions. It just didn't even feel right. And in today's world, we're told, don't go by the feelings. If I did, I would have probably been better off at this moment. So when we recognize we have to make a decision, we can do it in 2 fundamental ways. First, do an assessment, an analysis of step by step, what does this decision mean and why should I choose it? But when you get to the end, before you absolutely take that information and make a decision based on that, ask your heart. And the reason why is this: the heart doesn't care about the individual steps in a decision. The heart only looks at the conclusion. Either you get more energy from this decision, a good vibe, a feeling that this is right, or the heart will give you a feeling of bad vibes, less energy, a feeling that maybe this isn't the right answer. So the significance is really profound because the heart just reads energy. And higher energy is more life, less energy is less life. So in making a decision, yes, it's acceptable to do the analysis, but before you come to that final decision, please check in with your heart. Feel the feelings. If the feelings are good, that means go toward that direction. But if you feel question about it, you feel weaker about it, it doesn't just feel right. The heart is telling you right off that that energy is not good for you and you should use some other decision. Oh, wow. That's so wonderful. What a wonderful way to make a decision based on these feelings. And they can help us find the direction that we need to go in and lead us to a better life. Uh-oh. I guess that's not really working for me at this moment. Whoops. Oh, well. Computer, end simulation. Scotty, how many times have I told you not to leave me off at sea? You know I can't swim. Meet me at the bridge. You have some splaining to do.
I love that guy.
I just got the biggest kick out of that. And what I loved was, and what made me, I watch all Bruce Lipton videos, and but what I thought was interesting was this. This is what you were talking about. We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago. The holographic.
The holodeck. The holodeck
Holodeck
in Star Trek. One of my favorite things. One of my favorite parts of Star Trek. It's the most amazing thing. It's a computer simulated room. It's basically real life virtual reality where I don't know how they access it. They either beam it right into your brain, or you have, it doesn't see, I've never seen them put anything on when they walk into the holodeck in the episodes. So
Oh, okay.
they must beam these thoughts right into your head. And I mean, it's all real if it's in your head. So if you believe it, that it's real, it becomes real. And I mean, like you're seeing, he's in the middle of an ocean, but he was in a room. It's
But
so
then when
cool.
he used his compass, that's why the compass didn't make sense. And then he was telling us, when I was pointing at my head, he was saying, do some analysis, critically think, you know? So he's telling everybody, let's see, where's the critical thinking? Was this the Pac-Man thing?
Pac-Man.
Do some analysis, do some critical thinking, and then listen to your heart. Well, I don't know where the picture is, but then he had to listen to your heart. Yeah. And I think that is preparing us for, and I think that's the difference of the people that are seeing the new reality and the ones stuck in the 3D. The ones in 4D now and moving into 5D, I think, are the ones that are willing and able to critically think, and also learning to listen to your gut, your heart, yourself, your higher self, like Uncle Cliff talks about, God, spirit, you know, the universe. So how odd and okay, here's the other thing. His specialty is epigenetics. Like you said, he was a teacher and he's a doctor and instructor. And
Healer, a researcher, he's an everything guy.
Yeah. And so in his interviews, he says, you know, well, what I was teaching at college, then I was going back to the lab and disproving what I was teaching, because they taught in the lab that your DNA is a blueprint for your body, and that no matter what, that is that your DNA defines who you are. And in fact, what they did was they took identical DNA and put it into different environments. And because the DNA was in different environments, it would manifest differently. Some of it would be a lung, some of it would be fat tissue, some of it was muscle tissue, bone, whatever. And so it really wasn't, your DNA is not so defining of you as much as your environment.
Right. There's your hard DNA. There's your DNA that never changes. That your DNA, there's that makes you a woman. You'll always be a woman. Can't be changed. There's DNA that gives you blue eyes. You'll always have blue eyes. Won't change. But there's other DNA, and DNA actually within the hard DNA that has switches on and off. So there's genes for cancer. Or not a hard and fast gene. Just because you've tested positive for the breast cancer gene for the BRCA1 or the BRCA2 doesn't mean you're going to get it. The little DNA that gene must be switched on in you personally for you to get that and to manifest that cancer. Otherwise, it's there, but it's not on. And Bruce Lipton's thing is how your mind and your thoughts and your emotions basically solely control the switches that turn things on and off. When you're in a positive resonation and when you're at a higher frequency, according to Bruce, your body doesn't allow those things to manifest. It doesn't allow those things to turn on. If you're depressed and sad and down and negative, you stand a much better chance of those DNA markers for that switch to be turned on then for some of them. Now, there's also markers for like intelligence. There's genes that like you can turn your intelligence up. You can turn your perception up. You can turn, basically anything that's not like physically.
Ability,
there's DNA.
Practicing and listening and opening your third eye. And
Right.
It's almost like a muscle memory thing from what my mentors are teaching me, and that you can turn it on or improve it or increase it, and by practicing it, just like muscle memory with working out and things like that. So
Yep. Full of Hope just joined us. Thank you, Full of Hope. Appreciate it. She's so sorry she's late. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Glad you could join us.
Everybody's here. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody. I've seen a bunch of new names here, which is awesome. Of course, we have Tom as always. Charles Patterson, Full of Hope, Francine Archambault. I wasn't even going to try and say that one.
Chris Card, Rick Costa, William Lester, Nana's here, Charles Patterson,
here. John Sackett. The epi means above. John Sackett says epigenetics, genetics above your physical body. That's a perfect way of putting it. I get like the gist of things, but I miss a lot of the fine details sometimes. So that's where the chat comes in. Thank you.
And Johnny's here. Johnny will be here with me tomorrow. I saw
Johnny.
He's tweeting about things already that I'm sure we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I'm kind of excited about it. A lot of good stuff.
I still got to get together with Johnny. We both live in Jersey. We keep saying we're going to get together and do something. And he's invited me down to meet at a pizza place and do this. And I'm like, yeah. And then stuff comes up with the kids, but
you got to
I really want to go hang out with
really enjoy each other. Yeah. Both.
Well, we like a lot of the same things. We're both into medicinal cannabis and all that good stuff, and cryptos and Jersey life and good pizza and bagels, which nobody else outside this area gets.
That's very true.
I'm just saying, we have the best pizza and bagels in the world right here.
So you're a thin crust pizza, right? Though in that New York, New Jersey is like
I'm a thin crust. Pizza. I'm a thin crust. Okay. I mean, if it's thin and you can hold it out by the end and it stands out like that, ooh, yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh, okay.
None of that. Yeah, not too much bread. Not too much bread in there. It's all about the sauce and a good cheese and how well it's cooked.
I'm trying
have that
to
right little glaze on top.
That's grease, I think.
It might be, but it's a glaze, it just glazes over and it's healthy. It's healthy. Healthy olive oil, right? That's healthy.
I'm trying to make some good choices. I've been walking or working out mostly every day, and then trying to eat better. And I noticed the other day I had cut out bread or carbs, for a few days. And then I had was really good one day. And then it got late and I had like a handful of Cheez-Its. And I had the worst stomach ache. And I don't know if it was that maybe I always kind of have a little stomach ache or maybe some irritation or inflammation from gluten. And I never noticed it until I stopped and then had a bunch separately,
That's definitely a thing. I ran into that a lot years ago when I was getting off, maybe 10 years ago now. I was cutting most of that out of my diet completely. Oh, yeah. You go away from eating it and then you come back to it. And it's like.
And your stomach's like, oh, that doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Meat will still do that. Like a good steak will still do that sometimes to me. It just sits really heavy just because I have it so infrequently. Things like that. I see beer and chicken wings in New Jersey here. Who is this? Monzi? I see Monzi here. I don't know. First time for WuJu Wednesday in Mesa, Arizona. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And there was Ulrich from Denmark joined us too somewhere.
Oh, very cool. And Nancy Icenan. Hi, Mom.
Charles Peterson.
Hi, Mom. Yes, that's my mom.
Yes. We love Nancy.
We got a whole bunch of moms.
We got everybody. Daddy-O, Mama Bear. Yvette is here.
Rick Costa. I said Rick Costa already. That's cool. Yeah, these guys are great. Everybody joins us all the time. We appreciate that.
Well, and that's where when we've been struggling with the channel and all this, and I've been trying to find some alternatives, I had some people suggest to me, just upload it at BitChute or upload it here or there. But then we can't have the live chat. And I feel like that's a big part of our community. And so
sure.
I am streaming right now live on Odyssey. If you guys want to check it out, there's a link in the description. And then when you join, I get a little crypto and you get a little crypto when you use my link. And then you can watch this over on Odyssey and you earn crypto for watching this and engaging in the chat, different things. So it's kind of a great platform. I'm working on trying to figure out a strategy where I can somehow go live on Odyssey and then have enough time to grab the live link. Because in, WuTube, I can set it up and it like sits dormant until I go live. And then I can do all those things, get a shareable link, all that. Well, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that in Odyssey. So I'm actually going to be on an interview after this with Coin Vigilante, and he is using Odyssey quite a bit and said he would help me with some tips and some different things. So that's going to be one of my questions, like, how can I do it because when you are live, there is a live chat on Odyssey as well. So how do I enable the live chat and be able to share that stream to my Patreon and to Twitter because you can't connect it the other way. You know what I mean? So
no, actually, I don't know what you mean. I'm just nodding because I'm lost.
Okay.
You lost me 5 minutes ago. I don't know this stuff. I'm terrible.
I'm really trying to find that. I know there's a strategy that we can do to help be able to talk more freely about what we want to talk about. Today I was uploading. It took me, I don't know, hour and a half or more. And it kept saying when I did my Spears Malonen interview, and we were setting it as a premiere, and I told him, yeah, we'll have it live at 2. Well, it was like 2:20 before I could get it. And then I kept trying to, and it kept saying, okay, it's saved, it's processing. Then it processed, and then it said no issues found, and then it would refuse to let me save it. And I took screenshots to show like this is crazy. And then finally I just kind of X'd out of it and gave up. And I went over and looked on the back side, on the studio side, and it said it was live. So then I jumped in, and you said like you didn't even see it, and then all of a sudden it was live, but it had already been playing for a while. Yeah,
it popped up out of nowhere. I didn't get any notifications or anything for that one either. I was going to send you. I didn't get any notifications for that either, which is, it's, there's got to be a better way sooner than later. Yeah. Otherwise, we're all just going to get squashed out. That's how it's going. I mean, like I was saying before, though, I mean, the only thing left is for the MIL to start coming in here, with the Army and, military, the, Marines or whatever, and take care of this. That's kind of what I was going into before. It's not happening. That part isn't happening yet. I mean, it's getting worrisome.
I don't think it has to, though. I think, I think they will be part of the solution or coming in. It's my understanding that they could possibly be in Arizona right now and protecting what's going on with the count there at this time. I don't know if another count would be needed, but if it would, it could be handled by them. That's what happened in Myanmar. Yeah. Or is happening in Myanmar. And so, yeah, I agree, Filthy.
It's something. I
Uncle
just saw.
Cliff says that the universe provides what you need, not what you want. So he's telling me, tough it up, Lisa. You could figure it out.
We like to stay steadfast and spread all the joyous hopium we can around here because honestly, for the last year plus, I've had a real nice, calm time with a lot of this, looking at it as it's going to be awesome and successful without the doom and gloom. I mean, think about if you were negative Nelly and doom and gloom for the last year, what would your stress level be at this point?
Oh, I can't imagine.
It would be bad.
Here's the other thing. Like for me, it's actually the reverse where like people are getting more and more afraid. Yeah. I'm less and less because it's more and more ridiculous. Yeah. Hunter Biden is teaching fake news classes at colleges now. Heard that on Fox today. That has to be like, this is all a game. There's no way. The more ridiculous it gets, the more I feel like we're watching a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the divide is getting, you're right. The divide is getting bigger and bigger. I just don't know if people are shifting sides more and more or not. I don't know. I mean, maybe, you know, I've said it, I'm on the East Coast here. I'm in Jersey. This is, you know, New York, New Jersey, like total, you know, Dem countries for sure over here. And, you know, I could look out the window right now and see people driving by in their car with the windows up and their, you know, face diapers on and by themselves. I seem to be seeing more of that. And I seem to be almost getting more, I am internalizing that aspect of it, that aspect more and more lately. It hurts me, you know, it hurts me to see, number one, see how tricked everyone is, and then what that means for us as a whole. You know, I don't know. I have all these weird thoughts sometimes. I'm still steadfast.
Lessons, and sometimes it has to get really painful. And some other people might learn lesson closer. I think Cliff has a great point. He says, you know, you cannot see the mountain while climbing it. We're climbing up out of the valley. And so once we all get up there and look back, it makes me think of in the Depression. They didn't know they were in the Depression, the Great Depression. It was called that much later.
Right.
Not while they were in it.
That's a great point. That's a really great point.
You know, and so I think we'll come out of this and we'll look back and we'll call it the great whatever. Not the great
Wu-pression. I don't know. What could they possibly call this? The great F job? I don't know.
I don't know.
The great dumpster fire of 2020, 2021?
I don't know. But I think we have to come all the way out of it to be able to see how dark it really was. You know, I mean, I think of that with my divorce. You know, married for 20 years, seemed fine. Most of it got really ugly at the end. But until I started coming out of the fog, like Uncle Cliff says, the fog of Wu, when I coming out of the fog, there was embarrassment for me, or shame that I ever believed those things that he would, you know, control me with or say to me, or that I believed that truth that was put on me and that I chose to accept for a time. And so there will be, I think we'll go through all those. It'll be like a grieving process. We'll go through all of that. We're going to be angry. We're going to be sad. We're going to be, you know, all of those, I don't know, all the grief things, but
all the emotions, whatever that step is, all those steps in a row, we're going to run right through them all. Yes, I'm sure I'm quite sure I am part human. You know, that's funny. Cliff says that. Well, that's funny. Cliff says that because my mom swears he's not from here, but in like a really good way. Like, you know, like Nikola Tesla came from Venus or something like that. You know.
Well, Penny Kelly last night on John Claude's channel was talking about, well, you know, where I'm from. And I was like, where are you from, Penny?
Yeah. So. Well, there's a whole bunch of that. All of those old the stories about how the moon really is like the Death Star from Star Wars, and Venus was what Mars was the war planet or something like that. And there's going all the way back. Remember a while ago we had the big what was that big map? The Q map? No, it wasn't the Q. Was it the Q map?
The Q map has all that's
the Great Awakening map, maybe with all the different lines going to outer space and going to this and going to that. There was a lot of that information contained in there.
And a lot of it was space stuff. Like I was like, oh yeah, I believe this, I believe that. And then it starts talking about stuff that you're like, what? But
that's impossible. But I believe that other crazy stuff.
Right. But one of the things that that they admitted in those CIA hearings years and years and years ago, hold on, I'll share this map, was that one of the ways that they stop people from being empowered and believing critical thinking for themselves is that they use disinformation. I always get this
FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's all the same.
But they also get into shaming you. Oh, you conspiracy theorist. Oh, you believe in aliens. And that shaming people or bullying them is very powerful because everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to be part of, in the cool crowd and all this stuff. Yeah. When this gets into, I think I can zoom it a little bit.
Yeah, some of them zoom and some of them don't zoom. You got to download like the high quality one.
Is this one zooming or no?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, that's looking good.
Yeah, here's the Galactic Federation. Well, I don't know if I can make it bigger. How would I do this?
The Galactic League of Nations. There's portal systems. It says, who knows who put these things together, but it's certainly really interesting and something to talk about. The ancient builder races who came through 2 billion years ago or something like that and built these giant cities and structures out of aluminum and transparent. And then you hear stories about some structures on the moon being aluminum, so they're transparent and you can't see them or something like that. There's all these different things that over time have kind of, touched on the same points.
Yeah,
which is always interesting.
Rods of God, space weaponry, light and body ascension. So here's all the Antarctica stuff, ancient aliens, inner Earth, and here's the 17th letter stuff, sealed indictments.
Right. But in the whole map, that's just a tiny little piece. It's a tiny, tiny little piece, that 17 part right there.
This is, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? That's just one little circle out of all what's going on here. And, a lot of us are a little more familiar with that, for people who say that was a fake or, a scam or whatever. If it weren't for that 17, we wouldn't know anything about this map we're looking right here. I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I would have no idea about unless that started the conversation.
Definitely.
There's a whole bunch going on in there. So I saw Paulie P. Hey, Paulie P. What's up? I saw him a little while ago. I forgot to mention. He mentioned my coffee because I was drinking my coffee here.
Your coffee?
My coffee. I make the best coffee in the world. I put coconut oil. I gave him some. I made coffee for him and rice when they came up. It's like my thing. I put coconut oil in, put some turmeric, some cinnamon. I use brown sugar, and I use an immersion blender, and I blend it all up in my cup. I pour a little milk in there on top of it. Black pepper.
I put my C60 in my coffee every morning.
I use the
coffee.
I use the olive oil one, so it does not taste good in coffee. Like gag.
The coconut oil one, you don't taste it at all.
Yeah. I put a heaping scoop of coconut oil in my coffee when I blend it every morning.
Okay.
Between the coconut oil, the turmeric, and the black pepper, it really helps a lot with inflammation. It's really, really good for inflammation, especially for me. I've been drinking it every day for years like that. It's great for fibromyalgia and that kind of stuff. There he is, Paulie P, calling my coffee the bomb. I had a whole cafe. I still have it. I have a whole cafe designed around my coffee still. I have it ready to go. I made it. I drew up the plan. I drew up all the design that I want and everything I would need, like 5 or 6 years ago. And then
you do not have any time to do that.
I have no time. I don't even have time to look stuff up. This is ridiculous lately. But it is what it is. I feel as though, as many people do, unfortunately, I'm missing out on a lot of these different opportunities right now. I feel just being out of the loop a little bit, or not being able to participate as much, some of these other.
But what is the loop? Because I'll be diving into, I try to watch a little mainstream just to see what kind of crazy pants stuff they're telling people, what they're MK ultraing people with or whatever. Then I'm trying to watch like woo stuff and take that and do the Bruce Lipton critical thinking on all of it, and listen to my heart, listen to myself on it.
More with the community. It's the information that I'm missing for our groups here, for what we're all talking about, for what you guys are talking about, for what everyone's talking about on the Westwood chat that we have, just different things people are doing. Like, I feel like I missed the whole beginning when everybody was starting to follow SL369, and I missed a lot of that stuff in the beginning.
Once a week. Now she's on. So we're doing a show. Actually, she has a lady that's a really great psychic, intuitive.
I've been watching.
Michelle O, and she did a reading for me, and she's actually going to try to help me with some things for Cannon, trying to help him feel better, because that cyclical vomiting syndrome is just like, we can't get his weight up. He's just sick, every 2 weeks for 3 to 5 days, can't eat, is, retching. And they basically described it as a migraine in his abdomen caused from grief.
Have you looked into his blood sugar level? Because when
Oh
I was
God,
younger,
yes.
I would
Yeah.
always get nasty, nauseous
Oh,
out of the blue, and it turns out I would have like a little
yeah.
bit of
We,
hypoglycemia, the low
no,
one.
we've been to we did the whole blood sugar diabetic testing where we had to poke his finger for however many weeks and
Yeah,
document it and all that. Like we've been to gastroenterologists, we've been to neurologists, we're now being handled by a neurologist, but basically all they do is give me meds to knock him out when it
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Uncle Cliff, if you have any solutions or possibilities, I would be
That
forever
is
grateful.
certainly a odd one, and for whatever my input is worth on that, I really believe there's not much physically that can be done. I think it's in his mind. I think he can get himself worked up to a point and then get so nervous that what he thinks may come, it's going to come. Maybe that's just something he'll be able to outgrow.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, it's
Watch
terrible.
him suffer. And then, we are hoping to get a heart transplant eventually, and we have to be a certain weight. And right now we have hit the 50 pounds, where that was the minimum. So we're good there for what they're wanting to do. But we're trying to wait as long as we can to 16. And I'm hoping we have better options by then, because he's 10
Yeah.
and a half. So we still have a ways to go if we can keep him healthy and growing with this. But anyway, it's been really hard. And so she said she was going to try, she had some ideas and was going to try to help with some of that. And then also she gave SL like a really great reading and said, oh, you're going to be so busy by June, you're going to need to hire like an assistant. And I was like, ooh, when do I get to hire? But I got to build up my Patreon a little bit more before I even think about getting some help. But but it's just really interesting to talk to her and her perspective. So we're going to be doing a show with her next week. I think it's next Tuesday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's just, some of the things I feel like I've just kind of missed out on when it was, when everybody was chatting about it, because, my head's in the clouds with this stuff sometimes, but
I don't think it's over yet. You didn't miss out. And that's one thing. I have a good friend and she's always like, oh, I missed out because I'm this and I missed out because of that. And it's like, well, then you weren't supposed to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Not everything. I mean, there's times where, I know when Ben started inviting me to things and whatever, and then I couldn't go to a couple and I was just like, oh, felt left out. And I think we all have that desire, especially in these times where it feels like everyone else is so crazy and like only us crazy people are normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who everybody else crazy, you know what I mean? And so I think we crave that community so much. And then when you hear about an opportunity where they got to be together and you didn't get to be a part of it, I think that's hard. But
I've got my list of meetups right here that I'm working on getting to.
Are you coming to? You can't come to Phoenix, probably. That's probably too far for you.
Probably not, but it's
7th
on the list.
Okay, that's
there.
good.
So
manifest that.
I'm working on it. There's another one. I got the Arizona thing. I'm going to try my best for Westwood in June, which is a definite. I'll walk there if I have to. And then in July,
driving. So I will warn you that because he's in Illinois, they are requiring that you either get the prick, have some kind of note or documentation saying that you've already had it, or you have to have a negative test within so many hours to fly into that state. Okay. So I'm driving to Mom's, which is about 3.5 hours away, and then we're driving together to Westwoods, which is 9 hours away.
It's 14 hours from here. I looked into it already. 13, 14 hours. I'll do it. If that's what it comes down to, I'll do it. I don't mind it. I was already, to be very honest, I didn't know that. And I was already looking at renting RVs or renting a camper van or something like that to make in a week at, and just driving out there with the kids or something. But that's a long time for me.
On that interview with Spears, I was he was talking about how someone had outfitted some of these Sprinter vans like as little RVs.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, and then they rent them out. I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be perfect. Where is it? And he's like, oh, Asheville, North Carolina.
RVrental.com is a great website.
Well, I've tried that in the past,
Uh-huh.
and they could never guarantee me. They're like, yeah, we'll set it up, but we can't guarantee that it's going to be there. I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, if you have one of these here, and maybe it's RV Share. So RV Share is kind of like an Uber for RVs, where it's like you rent somebody's personal
Airbnb?
RV. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like you're renting their personal RV. You're not going to a dealer where they may or they might not have it. And these they have their they have a calendar on their site. I did this when was it last year for the Texas event with
Yes.
Ben that got canceled. I had right across the street. They had a campground. I had rented a big fifth wheel trailer with so
Okay.
it's a little
So
cheaper
tell
to
me what
do.
it's called again?
I think it's called RV Share. The best I saw, with mileage, because it's like 2,000 miles round trip for me with a little bit of driving around and stuff like that. It'd be like 15 to $1,800 for everything, as opposed to being like $1,000 for by the time I fly out there and get a car and get a hotel and stuff like that. So it's a little more, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about sitting in the car for that long. That's a long time. I would have to stop too much.
That would be hard for you.
I'm already like getting all nervous about it.
Antsy about it.
Yeah. But if I got to do it, I got to do it because I'm not, doing that thing. I'm not meeting those requirements.
No, me either,
obviously.
for sure. I think it's funny. Chris Card says the Aunt Maxine passports were a conspiracy theory last year. And that's where like more and more are.
Yeah. But they're not here yet. They're not here yet. So let's just.
Yes, it is.
What? Not
the hell it's not.
Where's their passport? I mean, are they?
Listen, Linda. You can call it whatever you want, but when we are making a plan to fly into a state, and they tell me that there are,
you've proved me wrong. Yes,
that you must have documentation in the form of this, not positive test, the prick itself, or what was the third one? Documentation that you've already had it. I don't care. This is, once again, I don't care what you want to call it. It's there. Mm-hmm. So JDO.
Yeah. You know what? You're right.
I disagree.
You're right. But I don't know. I see Paulie P wrote here, hook up with Randy. Randy's driving in from, is Randy going to drive from, was that Brooklyn to Westwood?
Yeah, I think, or Manhattan or somewhere. I don't know. Somewhere New-Yorky.
Yeah, I think he's in Brooklyn, but either way, it's I don't know if Randy's watching, or if anybody can get a word out to Randy, that'd be awesome. If he's going to drive out there, I'll meet up and we could split everything, or however that works. That would be great. Because it's the driving.
Johnny's saying that New York has rolled out the passports.
Oh, for crying out loud.
JDO's point is that the passport could be an air carrier thing, but is not mandated. A mandate is not a law. So, I mean, we're getting into messy word games that I don't think really matter. If it stops you from doing it, then I don't know. It's not the airline.
Johnny is Litecoin tech support? I missed that, right?
Yes, Johnny's Litecoin tech support. And JDO, it's not just a certain airline. It's any of them flying into the state of Illinois. So
it looks like my camera froze again. Did it freeze?
Yep.
See, it froze. See, again, it's a decent picture. All right. You don't have that weird droopy eye, and like a tongue hanging out, or like.
Oh, they always get me with my Elvis. Like
this is great.
Gets going.
I can hear everything, but I'm just frozen. Cool. All right. Paulie said he doesn't know if he's driving. Yeah, because I don't know, man. I got to figure that out now. So maybe that's just going to take a little more time to get there, but that's a definite I'm going to do. The Florida one.
You're back.
Cool. Oh, there we go. There's something coming up in Miami soon, right? There's a Bitcoin thing in June.
There is in June, early June.
That's the one I didn't
June
write
6th
down.
Or something. And I would be interested in going to that, I think, because it is in Miami. I don't know if it's when I have kids or not. That would be.
They're not going to have any of those rules for flying to get down there anyway. So yeah, I'm definitely into that.
Yeah, I think I can go to that one. I kind of feel like it's the first weekend.
I was talking to to Ben a little bit. Well, he was speaking to me while he was making a video the other day about about his new Texas thing he's got going on down there. Those classes that he's having. That looks interesting. I would do it, like, for sure, if I knew I could get the time in without the kids and stuff. But I think I might do something like that. I don't know. Ben's really rocking and rolling. I mean,
he's an entrepreneur for sure.
He's just going with it and going with it.
Yeah, creating some opportunities for people. I think that's really good.
That's been my issue. That's been my issue for this is, you know, there's the investing side of cryptos. There's, you know, the adoption side, and there's actually, you know, making money with it still. Like, aside from investing, you know, like.
Well, aside from investing, you should get into, we're having tremendous success with, like running a pack node. Divi's really not, I mean, it's an easy node to do, but it's not as financially advantageous. There were some that Spears talked about, like there was one that gave like a Onyx, and that's a 220% interest. But I don't know that you have that one in your possession. But like the pack node is amazing. The theta node. The other thing that's really beneficial is the Zilliqa, or because then you hold Zilliqa and then you stake it, and then every time you get 1,000 Zilliqa, you pull off. When you transfer, you get a GZIL, and there will only ever be 248 million or something like that. I can't remember. Charlie told me how many. Okay. So really, that Zilliqa, I think, is going to be a huge, huge thing. We know
that just had a nice little dip down over the weekend too. It was from 20 cents down to like 16 cents. I think it went down to over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to ask SL to do a reading on ZIL too, but there's still a lot of opportunities, and I feel like that is going to be that way of having multiple streams of income, where you can watch, you know, what's up, what's down, do I need to move in, out of that, you know, and then have that, where back in the old days, you know, you would buy a bond and your money you'd make money or make interest at the bank with your savings. And I talked to Spears about it, and I was like, you know, it's really weird, but crypto has made saving money cool again.
Yeah.
And so these kids are all bragging about how much Bitcoin they have. Well, they're saving their Bitcoin because they know if they hold on to it, it's going to be worth more later. So I think it's all in there. And
well, maybe that's the point of this Dogecoin, right?
Oh,
maybe. See, here's my thoughts on Dogecoin. I hate it and I love it. I hate it because I'm worried all the newbies are going to get in. I mean, as we've mentioned on last week, I think I have more people ask me about Doge than anything else,
which is great. It is an on-ramp and all that. But
maybe that's the point. Maybe that is Doge's use case. It's a coin that's been around for a long time. It has actually been around for a while.
It has a strong market cap.
It has a strong market cap. Was it $30 billion or something like that now?
I don't know.
Something insane. But here's the thing. Maybe the use case is just getting people into crypto. Maybe that's it. Maybe it doesn't need a real use case. Maybe that is the use case. Maybe this could be a new, you know, like a new category almost.
Right. Well, and I think about that with churches and stuff. Like we were involved with a church that ended up being like the largest mega church all over the world. And a lot of people got really frustrated because they were, you know, milking, what do they call it? Milk and toast or milk and bread or something like that. And they weren't, but because their front door was bigger than their back door. But that was their purpose, was that wasn't the church for someone who's, you know, really deep in their religion and wants to study more. It's to make people feel welcome and to bring people in.
Build community,
and build community there. And then maybe those people find, you know, a more deep learning somewhere else. But people would criticize the church because of the big front door. And they're like, you're not even looking at who's going out the back door. Well, it's okay that you go out the back door. That means you weren't supposed to be here then. So I do see your explanation of Doge being that on-ramp. I feel the same way about the whole PayPal thing and Venmo, and even
Cash App, I think, is going to be able to do cryptos for a while.
Cash App and all. Even banks holding custodial wallets for people. I understand those steps. My concern with Doge is that Doge was just nothing and a meme coin and a joke and whatever until Elon's influence pumped it. And now it's like, well, it seems like it's really stable because a lot of people are using it. And if they do choose to use it as currency, people used puka shells as currency. You could use anything. The community has to agree, though. And if the community was that much influenced by him saying, yes, I choose this, what happens when he says, no, I don't anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very concerned to hear that it was on the Ellen show, supposedly, yesterday. Because it's my understanding that she went bye-bye a long time ago. And so then that made me think, okay, if she's talking about that and she's already bye-bye, was that recorded a long time ago? And then was this planned and this pump manipulation to get people to get into Doge and then get them wrecked? I don't know. It's very concerning to me. So I would recommend...
It could be.
If you want to get in there and have fun, just know the risk. That's a great risk. That's buying a lottery ticket, and you're ready to lose whatever you put in it. Yeah.
I mean, I think it could absolutely be something like that also. It could be how many times have we seen the markets run up and everybody gets all excited, everybody FOMOs in once it's already, gone up 5x, and then people want to jump in, I hope it's not something designed to get people in just to pull the wool out from under them and then to say afterwards, hey, all cryptos are terrible. Because right now, if somebody knows something about crypto, it's most likely Doge. Unfortunately, these new people coming in, which is good and bad. I don't.
If it is that open door, then that's great. But come on in and let's teach you some more and get you out of something so risky. I think so. JDO did some little research. So you can call that a passport or not. But he says CDC on 4/27 travel internationally. You will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel by air into the U.S. Show your negative results to the airline before you board your flight.
Okay.
Sounds like a passport to me, but
it sounds like a passport, but it's not a V passport. I don't have the C passport.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know what the difference is. It's you just bend over either way. But
if that's what he was talking about, as he was saying, it's not the V passport specifically.
You
have to prove multiple ways. I get that.
Mincing words, right?
For sure, not this JDO.
Right, but it is something that we do have to deal with. So I guess would all be considered a passport. Hankowitz here says Ellen DeGeneres. Her name literally means goddess of degeneracy.
I just think after all those weird TikToks, I think she went bye-bye. And remember when I sent you the video of the Disney promoted ad on Twitter of Dory floating upside down and it said just keep swimming? I think that's when she went bye-bye.
There was a better one I thought of. Did you ever see the one, the TikTok or one of those videos she made where she was doing the weird laying on the couch, kind of the upside down thing? Somebody decoded that was the Hanged Man tarot card, and I wanted to ask you about that.
Oh, so
here, I'll try and find her doing that.
Okay.
And you tell me what that card means, because actually that just reminded me of that. I've been meaning to ask you about that for a while.
I can tell you exactly what it means.
LNG.
The Hangman.
This was something that I wanted to see here.
Wow.
Here we go. Look, it's this one here with this pose.
Okay.
It's supposed to be...
Wait, let me make you bigger.
Okay.
I forgot how to do that. Solo layout. Okay.
Here you go. This is her.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. That's not the one. Wait. It was the one where she had her legs crossed. That's the Hangman. Wait, hold on. This is the one. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. It's not making it bigger.
That's okay. I have you. You're the whole screen.
Okay, here. Maybe you can see how her legs are
Oh,
crossed
yes, and
on
it's
that
the
one?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay, so now let me show you this. Exit
I've been
solo
waiting
layout.
to ask, and every time I think about it, it's like one of those
And
things where nobody around
I
to
have
ask,
to
and you
go
just
pretty
forget.
quick because I have to be on another
Mhm.
video, but, see this, the hanged
That's the
man?
one. Yep.
Look at the 4 she's making with her foot, her
Yep.
legs. Accept the consequences of your decision. Go through it, get it over with, and free yourself up for new pursuits.
And the
Um,
words that I forget what she was saying at that point, but I remember that what she was talking about had something to do with that.
Okay, so this gets better. The hangman usually indicates a lack of ability to help oneself through independent action. The energy is arrested and awaiting judgment. With this card, there is no avenue that you will gain control in the situation until it's passed. This represents a good time to be philosophical, to study, meditate upon the position you find yourself in, only to form resolutions from the moment you become free again. Only those who possess wisdom, patience, optimism, including possible humiliation, to grasp inspiring lessons that one can gain from such an experience. That's what she was doing.
Interesting. And there it is again. You can see the crossed legs there.
Yep.
And
Making
that
the
was
4.
Yep, that was somebody pointed this out a while back too, so it wasn't like my find.
So
But
arrested and awaiting
look at that.
judgment.
Look at that. I don't know. How could there be nothing going on with all this weird stuff happening?
Yeah, but we're all conspiracy theorists.
Because we have no proof. There's no proof of what we have. Just like there's no proof that you love your children and that I love my children. I can't go to a court of law and prove it. Why? Because I take care of them. Anybody can take care of them. You don't have to love somebody to take care of somebody. Why? Because you teach them. What proof? There's a lot of things out there that don't have proof. This is maybe a little something we should have some proof, but this is where we're being tested individually. I think certainly to keep the faith and
remember what Bruce Lipton said. It's about critical thinking. Use critical thinking and listen to your heart. Listen to yourself. Like Uncle Cliff talks about us being able to connect with our higher self. Ask those questions and then trust yourself.
Yeah.
Don't trust the compass because it told you so. Don't trust the link on YouTube or the link on whatever. So, all right, I gotta
crazy.
go.
All right, real quick, if anybody wants to try, I want to try and put together New Jersey meetups here and there. I have time to do it. I'd really like to get something going once a week or at least, once every other week or something like that. Something local here if people want to get together. So if anybody's in New Jersey, especially North Jersey, if you want to get together and do stuff sometime, let's put something together. You can email me at the Public Awakening. Yeah. Visit the website. You can contact me through there or just email me public@thepublicawakening.com. And, as things open up more, I want to be out there. I want to get out doing things. I want to go out to different spaces and enjoy the weather and, meet new people and get moving on this stuff because it's time,
I think it is time. Yeah. It's time for us to all get together for community. So you guys remember to love one another. Join me over at, I think it's going to be live. I'm not, oh no, I think he said it recorded. So I'll find out when it's going to be posted. But I'm going to run over and do an interview at Coin Vigilante and talk to Carlos Estrada.
Very cool.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.